Okay. Good day and welcome to the CCS webinar. My name is Jaco de Pre and I am part of the team here at CCS MI and Industrial, part of the CCS group of companies. It's my pleasure to present today's webinar where we will be discussing the Candy bill code, cost code and group code application. I'll aim to keep the webinar relatively short, focusing on all the key points regarding these topics. Due to the large number of people logged on, we will not be able to answer any questions during the presentation. However, please submit your questions during the webinar via the provided chat function on screen. Afterwards, we will collate these questions and send the answers to everybody that registered for this webinar via email. Please note that the webinar will be recorded and you will receive a link to download the recording. We plan to host a webinar on a monthly basis on various Candy topics. Should you not be able to attend the webinar at the scheduled time, please still register as you will automatically receive a copy of the recording. Let's start with today's topic. The 5 W's of costing. Candy's 5 W's of costing features describes the way that we do cost control in Candy. Where refers to where is the location the allowable budget were accumulated. What refers to what are we doing. With refers to with what group of resources are we doing it? Who refers to who is the supplier of the resources we are using to do the work with? When refers to when will this work be done? Today we will cover 3 of the 5 W's. This webinar will demonstrate the use of bill codes that explains where the allowable budget are accumulated by dividing the bill of quantities into different work locations. Cost codes that explains with what group of resources the allowable budget are carried on. Group codes that explains who are the supplier of these resources. At the end of this webinar, you should be able to create, allocate and use the bill code, cost code and group code to print reports that gives valuable project cost information. So the first topic for today will be bill codes. We can access the bill codes in the definitions and settings under 3.1 bill codes. So what do we mean when we refer to bill codes? The bill code makes reference to the location on the project site and uses the bill code to identify the bill item against that location in the project. That is where the work is being carried out. The bill code is used for location control. It sums money only. These codes are job specific and allocated to bill items. So why would we want to use bill codes? If I want to see the allowable budget on a specific area of work or analyze the resources required to complete that area of work, I would use a bill code. The bill code is intended to identify the location where the bill item belongs on the project. In this example, I have 6 work locations. I have the crusher, conveyor, the open pit, underground west, the underground north, and the chairlift. So how do I create, allocate, and use a bill code to print reports that gives insightful information? I've already defined 5 of the 6 codes described and the units in the definitions and settings under 3.1 bill codes. So let's define and add the chairlift. Things to consider working with bill codes. A bill code factor will convert the bill item quantity to the unit of its bill code. The bill code are defined in the definitions and settings. The code is limited to 8 characters alphanumeric. The description is limited to 40 characters alphanumeric. And the unit is limited to 6 characters alphanumeric. Alternatively, you have the option to import and update your bill codes from a master file or any Excel file if you click on Tools, Import and Update. You can see that you have the choice to import the bill codes from a master, to update the codes and descriptions from an X-master, or import the bill codes from a file. Just a tip, when we import bill codes from an Excel file, you will need to know the column number used for the codes and the description fields. So after we have defined the bill codes in the definitions and settings, we can allocate them to the bill items. The bill code will be used to group the bill items into the different work locations that exist on site. To allocate these codes, I would need a document where I can view the bill code column. For this example, I will use the standard bill of quantities and customize it accordingly. I can ask for a new document. Let's just move to the estimating bills, new document. Under pricing bills, you will get a standard bill of quantities. We can rename this document to standard bill of quantities with bill code. The shortcut key to open a column selector window is Ctrl F1. Note that under the heading 17 codes and factors, all the different codes that you can add to your standard bill. In our case, we would like to add 17.5, the bill code description, the bill code unit, the bill code quantity conversion factor, and the bill code quantity. We can also add our final quantity at the end of the document. And also we can add the final net amount. Now that we've added the columns to our bill of quantities, we can allocate the bill codes. For this example, I've already allocated most of the bill codes to the bill items. Let's allocate the chairlift bill code I've defined earlier. So you can allocate codes by one of three ways. You can double-click in the bill code column next to the bill description and select the appropriate code, chairlift. Alternatively, you can hold Shift if you want to select more than one code. Click again, right-click, choose Allocate Bill Codes, and select the code from the drop-down list. Thirdly, you can just simply type in the code if you know it. The bill code unit is the unit of measure of the location on site. If the bill code unit is different from the bill unit, the bill code quantity factor is used to convert the bill item unit to the bill code unit. Let me just give you an example. Have a look at load and haul. The quantity of the bill items that uses the bill code can now be accumulated. The monetary amount of these bill items can also be accumulated, and the average rate for the bill code can then be determined. However, Candy does not produce a report or document where the average rate per bill code is calculated. To do the calculation manually, we could use the results from the project code quantity summary, report number 30, and the project code report number 26. Project code quantity summary. Let's customize the report. Our primary selection will be bill codes, secondary none. Selection on bill quantity is fine. Here we can view the total amount accumulated in quantity, specifically for the open pit or the earthworks, which had a factor of 1. In case of the other bill codes, we selected a factor of 0. In this case, it will not sum any of the quantities. Let's look at the second report, project code number 26. We can customize the report. We want to sum it according to bill codes. Selection on bill quantity is fine. In this case, I would only want a summary in a spreadsheet format based on net rates. And here we can view per bill code the total amount. In the case of the open pit, we can divide the total amount by the quantity which was derived in the project quantity report number 30. So note, the values in these fields default to 0 when the bill code is first allocated to the bill item. For some bill items, the quantity is not relevant. In this case, only the monetary value should be added into the bill code. Use the bill code quantity factor of 0 for these items and the money is included but not the quantity. The bill code final quantity column will display the product of the final bill quantity and the conversion factor. So let us view some standard reports available in the Estimating Report Manager. The first report that we will have a look at is project codes number 26. This report will address our needs to view the allowable expenses on a specific area of work on site. We can customize this report to view the bill items per location and the amount of the budget allocated to the different resource types for each of these locations. Our primary code selection will be bill codes and the secondary code selection for this report will be none. Entering the code in a sieve, the report will print only those resources that contributed to the particular code. By leaving the sieve blank, the report will analyze all of the codes. Selection of bill quantity is fine. In this case, we would like the bill and the summary in a spreadsheet format based on net rates. We can click OK. Let's print the report. The report shows bill items per location, the bill quantity, the total amount, and the rate. Additionally, the amounts allocated in proportion of the rate allocated per resource type based on the bill quantity using net rates. This you can see in the columns that follow. And if we page down to the last page, we can view the total allowable budget per bill code or area split into resource types. The second report that we will have a look at is Project Codes Resource Analysis number 27. This report will address our need to analyze the resources required to complete a specific area of work. You can customize this report to view the resource rate utilization, and the amount for each resource type per bill code based on the bill quantities. I would like to analyze all complexes to a level number 9, break down any root complexes, if there were any, set at this stage, and print codes separately. This will be based on cost codes. Bill quantity is fine. That's also fine. On page 1, we are able to view the detailed resource utilization per project location for the crusher. On page 2, we are able to view the summary of the resources per cost code for each location on the project. Now, to recap quickly, we have defined our bill codes based on the different work locations on site. On site, in the definition and settings, we allocated the bill codes to the bill items to group the bill into work locations. This allowed us to print a standard report available in the report manager on the allowable budget for a specific area of work on site and to analyze the resources required to complete that area of work. Before we start the second topic for today, I would like to mention task codes. Earlier, I've said that task codes refer to what are we doing or the work being done. The subject task code has been covered in a previous webinar and will not be covered today. You are welcome to request the link in case you have missed that webinar. The second topic for today will be cost codes. You can access the cost codes in the definitions and settings under 4.1. In this example, I've already defined most of the cost codes, but let's define a cost code for fuel. The cost code will be 300050. Description, fuel, the unit, kiloliter. As with bill code, you can also import cost codes. So what do we mean when we refer to a cost code? The unit is important for converting the resource usage to the same units as the cost code. This allows the used quantities for each cost code to be accumulated. The escalation column and non-productive column will not be covered today, as this belongs under the topic of cost and allowable. The cost and allowable application we will be covering in a separate webinar. The grouping column is used to group like resources together. It gets allocated to the cost code. The grouping code should be listed as a cost code with a description before it can be allocated to the cost codes. Let's create a grouping code and allocate it to some cost codes, which were allocated to resources which were similar in kind. Let's create it. We will call the code G3. Consumables, and we will allocate this to the consumables concrete, consumables support, and consumables drilling. Sorry for that little mistake over there. Let's just rename the code consumables. That's it. Note that the grouping code is not the group code, and under no circumstances must the grouping code be allocated to a resource. We can quickly view the results of the grouping function under finalization, job analysis 2, and we will open the document 1.3, allowable budget. Finalization, job analysis 2. Let's have a look at the allowable budget. We can now click on View, say Group By, and we want to group by cost group. In this case, you can see that all of the cost codes which had a consumable grouping code allocated to them are now totaled. So why would I want to use a cost code? The quantity surveyor may require the total amount of actual expenses incurred against each cost code and the total amount of allowable budget accumulated against each cost code. The actual expenses per cost code from the external accounting package can now be compared against the allowable budget per cost code generated in Candy. The comparison of actual versus allowable provides resource-based control. I may also want to analyze the resources used per cost code to determine whether I have allowed sufficient budget. How do I allocate and use cost codes to print reports that gives insightful information? Now that I have defined the cost code in the definitions and settings, we can allocate them to simple resources. The cost code will be used to group the simple resource items into different ledger codes. To allocate these codes, I would need a document where I can view the cost code columns. For this example, I will use the standard document 1.6 resource group and cost code allocations. This you can find under the resource tab, resource group and cost allocations. In this example, I've allocated most of the cost codes. Let's allocate the fuel cost code I've defined earlier. I will allocate this cost code fuel to the resource diesel. Now, you can allocate cost codes in a similar fashion to how we allocated the bill codes, by double-clicking, by right-clicking after you've selected multiple resources, or just by simply typing in the code, if you know it, next to the resource item. Note that a cost code should not be used. Let me just close here before I explain. Note that the cost code should not be used across resource types. For example, a cost code, say, for skilled labor should not be used against plant or material type resources. Each cost code belongs to a resource type. For example, labor cost codes belongs to a resource type labor. Plant cost codes belongs to a plant resource type, and so on. So a labor cost code should not be allocated to plant type resources. While this appears rather obvious, it is not enforced when allocating cost codes to resources. However, it's a requirement in the cost and allowable application. For today, we will focus on the estimating application of cost codes. The cost code unit of measure. The cost code unit of measure may be different than the resource unit of measure. Note that the cost code quantity factor converts the bill quantity usage of a resource to the unit of measure given to the cost code. The resulting quantities can be summed by the cost code to produce the total quantity attributed to the cost code. With the money accumulated as allowable expense, the quantity can also be used to calculate the average rate for a cost code. To show the result, I will need a document where I could view the average rate per cost code. I will use the standard document 1.1 split amount summary under the finalization, analysis, to and customize it. Let's open split amount summary. We can rename it to cost code amount summary. Let's customize it. For this example, we will remove the split amount and also the task code, and we will add 1.3, the cost code. Okay. For today's example, we will look specifically at labor. I will switch over to a PowerPoint slide. That display exactly the same that was on the candy screen. If you look at labor, for example, the bill usage, which is the total amount of labor needed on the project, on the bill quantity equals 42,000 plus 15,000 plus 1,600. You can see that over there. Times a quantity factor of 0.1111 days for each hour of work. The quantity factor is the factor to convert 1 hour to the fraction of a day. Hour is the resource unit. Day is the cost code unit. Therefore, 1 hour equals 0.1111 day. The total allowable amount of 2.5 million divided by the 6.6 thousand days equals an average rate of 392 Rand per day. Similarly, the monetary value and quantities of all the resources with the same cost code are added together. The total monetary value are divided by the total quantity, and that gives the average rate per cost code. Let's view some standard reports available in the Estimating and Report Manager. The first report that we will have a look at is Bill Resource Analysis. This report will address our needs to view the allowable expenses per cost code. We can customize the Bill Resource Analysis report to show the resources by cost code. A bill quantity selection is fine. This report gives us a resource analysis based on the bill quantity. Page 1 reflects all the complex resources. Note that none of the complex resources have a cost code allocated. If we move to page 2, this page reflects all the simple resources. Note that the simple resources has a cost code allocated to them. Now the last page, we can view a summary of the cost code. If you want, you may allocate cost codes against complex resources. However, by default, Candy ignores the cost codes allocated against the complex resources and breaks down the analysis to the simple resource level. The only reason why you may want to allocate a cost code to a complex resource is if you do not want to analyze to the simple resource level. In this case, you would have to mark the complex resource as a root complex and allocate the cost code to the root complex resource. The common myth that allocating cost codes to both simple and complex resources will result in doubling your allowable is not true. Let's open document 1.6, Resource Group and Cost Code Allocation. In this example, I will set all the plant complex resources as root complexes. I will hold Shift, click to highlight all of them, right click, root complex, set as a root complex. Notice the red dot on the left of the description indicating the complex resource has now been set as a root complex. I will also allocate the resource code of underground plant to all of those resources. I will allocate underground plant. Okay. Let's have a look at the same report, Bill Resource Analysis, report number 12. We will analyze the complexes to level number 9. We want to analyze it by page. In this case, we do not want the root complexes broken down, and we want our report to sum by cost code. A bill quantity selection is fine. Page 1, we have the analysis of the complex resources not set as root complex resources, broken down to a level 9. On page 2, we have an analysis of the complex resources set as root complexes. On page 3, we have an analysis of the simple resources not included in the complexes set as a root complex resource. Here, all the complex resources are broken down to a simple resource, excluding the complex resource set as a root complex. On page 4, we have a summary of the cost broken down in resource types. Note that the plug and split rates will be printed separately on this report. It is impossible to allocate cost codes to split and plug rates, as these rates are plugged on the bill of quantities and not allocated to the worksheet where the rate is built up for simple resources. Therefore, split and plug rates are considered bad practice. The second report that we will have a look at is analysis by group, report number 15. This report we will address the need to analyze the resources by cost code. We can now customize the bill resource analysis report to show resources by cost code. With this report, you will easily be able to determine whether you have allowed sufficient budget and included the resources required to complete the job under each cost code. And this covers cost codes. To recap, we have defined our cost codes based on the different accounting ledgers used in the external accounting package in definitions and settings. We allocated the cost code to the simple resources to group the resource list into the accounting ledger codes. We allocated the codes to the simple resources to group the resource list into accounting ledger codes. This allowed us to print a standard report available in the report manager on the allowable budget for each cost code or otherwise ledger code, and to analyze the resources per cost code or referred to as the ledger code. The last topic for today that we will discuss will be group codes. Now you can access the group codes in the definitions and settings under 4.1. I mean 4.2. In this example, I've already defined most of the group codes, or actually all of the group codes. As with bill codes and cost codes, you can simply import group codes as well. So what do we mean when we refer to a group code? The group code is also referred to as the supplier code. It represents the vendor that supplies the resources. Why would I want to use a group code? The estimator would require the total amount of money to be spent on a particular supplier to negotiate the best possible discount. The resources can be allocated to specific suppliers using the Candy group code to summarize the value to be spent against each supplier. So how do I create, allocate, and use a group code to print report that gives insightful information? The group code must be defined first before we can allocate them in the simple resources. To allocate these codes, I would need a document where I can view the group code columns. For this example, I will use the standard document 1.6 group code and cost code allocations. Let's open 1.6 resource group and cost code allocations. And in this example, I've already allocated the group codes. And you can allocate the group codes in a similar fashion to how we allocated the bill codes and the cost codes. You can either double click, you can use the right click function, or you can simply type in the code if you know it. The group code must be allocated to a resource similar like a cost code. To make it easier to allocate group codes to simple resources, we could use the filter facility. Filter for resources that are simple. So, let us view some standard reports available in the Estimating Manager. The first report that we will have a look at is the analysis by group or cost. That is report number 15. In this report, we will address our need to view the amount of money to be spent on each supplier. We can now view the resources and the amounts of money spent on each supplier. Another useful report is the tracer report. The tracer report will list all the bill items that contribute to a particular cost code or group code. This report is available under the check and review reports. Here we can see that we will use the supplier AEL to supply explosives to the bill items listed to the amount of 1,086,000. Now this covers group codes. To recap, we have defined our group codes based on the different suppliers of the resources used to price the job in the definitions and settings. We allocated the group codes to the simple resources to group the resource list into supplier or group codes. This allowed us to print a standard report available in the report manager on the budget allocated to each supplier or group code, and to analyze the resources supplied per supplier contributing to a bill item. Before we end today's seminar, I would like to show you the cross-reference function available on cost codes and group codes. The cross-reference is a useful tool when searching for bill items to which a particular supplier is contributing. Let's take MC Steel, for instance. We can right-click. We say cross-reference group code in the bill. According to bill quantity, it's fine. And here we can view MC Steel is contributing to the following bill items. A cross-reference is also useful when determining which resources contribute to a particular cost code. In this case, let's cross-reference the cost code explosives. Cross-reference cost code, we would like to reference it to the resources. And here we can view that these are the resources included under the cost code explosives. Now this concludes today's bill code, cost code and group code webinar. I hope this session has been informative and that we have added even more value to your day-to-day utilization of Candy and its implementation in your organization and everyday working environment. Thank you to all the attendees and also a big thank you to all our users allowing Candy to make a difference on your project and within your organization. Please remember to email your local CCS office if you want to know more about Candy's 5 W's or have any other queries. The next webinar, we will be looking at indirect costs and the spreading of these costs. Remember, if you cannot attend the webinar, please still register and you will receive a recording of the session which you can watch in your own time. Until the next webinar,